Hello friends, what's going on, and welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. I genuinely do hope that, though I imagine it's difficult if you are indeed a Chelsea fan. It's tough out there, the most frustrating situation ever with the discipline and corner defending, and dare I say officiating perhaps not going our way. In Football Therapy today, we'll be going back very fleetingly on the non-penalty decision and how it should have been confirmed by ex-good referee Clattenburg. I want to show you a very, very eye-opening stat via a graphic that was brought to my attention by CFC Central Sam from the Londoners Blue podcast. It's pretty mad, and it's not Copium. It will frustrate you even more about Chelsea's discipline situation. And we can finish on that. Liam Twomey's broken down the red cards. We can look at them in an Athletic article. I think that'll be interesting, illuminating to learn. But really, it's this graphic, guys, I want to show you. A spoiler, it's Chelsea's XG for and against with 11 men on the pitch. So how you're supposed to play football with a full team. And it is illuminating. It is, yeah, and like I said, it's not Copium. It's not me saying, oh, everything's good. If anything, it makes me feel even more angry, even worse, because of these kids just constantly getting themselves sent off. And I do stray a little bit of actual positivity. Speak about the reintroduction of Romeo Lavia, because I feel like I've been on this channel for years speaking about people forget how talented this kid is. I was doing the same with Wes Fofana, of course. I'm a fan of his style, Wes Fofana, as I am Romeo Lavia. I mean, the two sort of like glass men, had they both been available constantly for Chelsea for the last few years, perhaps fortunes could have been slightly different. Maybe Lavia would have had a couple red cards by now. Lol. But yes, he had a really, really good cameo in that game, and I think he'll help out Rosinia and indeed Chelsea massively. So that's one thing. Okay. Thank you for joining me, guys, in these turbulent, difficult times. All we have is each other. So, thanks for sticking with me, man. I am going to bring some new, fresh content to the channel very soon. Of course, I'm moving. I'm going to build a new sort of, possibly even a set in the room where I work. But thank you for continuing to hang out with me on YouTube. If you want to like and subscribe, that would be wicked. I would be most grateful. If you choose to subscribe, I do have a sore throat. You should hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Still can, pop one out there. Also available on all podcast platforms. Simply search Football Therapy Podcast. Those 3 words. You can watch the video on Spotify. I would appreciate your follows and your 5 stars. I've got loads on Spotify. It's wicked. You've done great work, you. Well done. Unlike Chelsea, you're doing great work, and I really appreciate the work. Right. Let's start off very quickly with Romeo Lavia. No screen share here. I do want to speak about, he obviously came on, played a few minutes. He played a half of the under-21s where loads of the Chelsea first team went to attend. He looked good, man. Like, if you look at his very fleeting short performance against Arsenal, he did genuinely change how we play. He is still only 22. He's recently turned 22, actually, in January. So he's not long 22. He's still such a young player. He can be so effective for us. And in a game where, Andre Santos perhaps didn't look his best against Arsenal, maybe his profile, we want to see Andre Santos maybe scoring some goals. He's a great finisher. He scored loads of goals for Rosinia at Strasbourg. He's a great midfielder option to have. But Lavia can be transformative. I'm not going to spend any more speaking on this, guys, because I've done it before. He is such a unique profile in the team. Drink every time I say Cole Palmer says he's the most underrated footballer in world football. But people have forgotten about what Lavia does. It's different. He's a little bit like Kovacic in terms of how he press resistant, brings the ball up and progressive, but I think he passes better than Kovacic. I think literally getting the ball turning and starting attacks quicker and feeding the likes of Palmer quicker, he could be really important. There, I'm done. I'm not going to spend any more talking about Romeo Lavia. I just felt like perhaps I didn't, do him justice in my emotional match review yesterday. So let's move on. Alrighty. Check this out. Mark Clattenburg gives his verdict to non-penalty incident. Clattenburg, who spent 13 years as a Premier League referee, has also taken charge of the Champions League and European Championship final in 2016, has now waded into the debate over whether Chelsea should have been awarded the penalty. And for his ego crazy, I mean, not Mike Dean levels, but he's a weird guy, Clattenburg. He was a good referee. Like, he was given, Champions League finals and, European Champions League finals as an English ref, which was pretty big. He was good. He told the Chelsea Chronicle the following: Declan Rice defends a corner kick when he's hugging Hatto, clearly moves his arm to the ball, and a penalty kick should have been awarded. In Clattenburg's eyes, it was a no-brainer. Again, I'm gonna not stick on this for too long. We lost that game yesterday because of our discipline and set-piece defending. Done. And the next part of the video, we will highlight how that is our biggest problem, the ill-discipline. But if we weren't soft as butter on set pieces this season, whether it's corners, whether it's long throws, we'd probably be on for the quadruple. I tell you what, again, the stat I'm about to show you, imagine Chelsea having 11 players on the pitch all the time, you'll see in a moment, as well as not being a team of toddlers on set plays. Genuinely, I mean, if my auntie had a knob should be my uncle. Is that the phrase? Yeah. Anyway, yes, ifs, whats, and buts. Ifs and buts, should I say? Maybe some whats in there. But it's an absolute nonsense. It's no defense. It's just, if anything, it's more infuriating because it shows what could have been. Me saying if we were better at defending set plays like long throws and corners and free kicks, we'd be better. I realise that's pretty dumb. That's like me saying if we were better at football, we'd be better. But it's that isolated part. The open play when you're kicking the ball around, we're pretty darn good at. But it's the set plays and it's the discipline. Now, yes, this is what I'm going to show you next. Take a deep breath. As highlighted, got to shout out CFC Central. Sam, a great guy, works on the Londoners Blue. He was referencing this in their review, and I got him to send it to me. The most frustrating part for Chelsea fans must be that they are one of the best sides in the league at 11 versus 11. So when 11 players are on the pitch, look at this. So the x-axis, which is expected goals, and the y-axis is expected goals allowed, so against you. So along the bottom, horizontally, is goals scored, expected, and up vertically is goals conceded. And this is per 90, right? So per 90, per game, basically. For those of you looking at the graphic, you will see that Chelsea are by far the best team for expected goals per 90. Like, way ahead of who's second, which is interestingly probably joint Arsenal and Man United. But Chelsea is significantly far, way out on their own. No one comes close to Chelsea for generating expected goals when we have a full complement of a full team on the pitch. And that's obviously huge if. The only team that are better than expected goals allowed, of course, is Arsenal, who have an insane defence. Chelsea are probably level second with Man City and Newcastle. Let's say joint second. So the joint second expected defence, and way ahead in terms of expected attack, as it were, to sort of simplify things. In fact, because of Arsenal's defence and Chelsea's attack, you could argue they're both as good as each other. Just Chelsea are better as attacking. Chelsea are better at attacking. Arsenal are better at defending, but they're still both good at sort of defending and attacking in their own right. This is suggesting that if we didn't have red cards this season, I'm not sure if Arsenal had a red card. They must have. I don't even know. But if we didn't, this is suggesting that obviously you got to take your chances, and that's another kettle of fish. But saying Chelsea should be in the title race. If you looked at this metric and you said just on this, expected, and of course there's expected points as well, which Chelsea are way higher than we're supposed to be, you'd be like, well, yeah, either Chelsea or Arsenal will be top of the Premier League. That's probably what you'd say. which is, you know, obviously you learn the story. Oh, but they get sent off all the time and they have no discipline. Oh, they can't. And yes, not Copium. I need to, because there'll be some of you shouting at the screen. That is an expected metric, which is a way of quantifying an average in the league, right? They're not taking into account how we're soft as baby waste in certain phases of play. Like I think we had a much bigger XG on corners than Arsenal yesterday in that game. Much bigger XG on corners. Yet we scored 1 and they scored 2 from like 0.5. They scored 2 from 0.5. So yes, they're good on corners, but we were soft to allow it to happen. So we're actually massively underperforming to what the average level is and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just infuriating because it's essentially saying, look, if you weren't a bunch of children, if you didn't get sent off all the time, this is what you're generating in open play. And you do see on the eye test at times, it's undermined by the result. It's undermined by the red cards. It's undermined by Rob Sanchez looking lost on corners, or, you know, no one's marking, or, you know, as Reece had a great game against Arsenal, but he didn't look great on Gabriel on the first goal. Do you know what I mean? He was watching Gabriel, he didn't look where the ball was. Gabriel was like, yeah, you can watch me all you want, mate. Jump, head. There you go, Saliba. So, yeah, I'm not by any way saying, hey guys, it's all cool, man. Look at this friggin' expected, you know, look at what the point Dexters have brought out, you know. Look at all the boffins have generated a graph. So it's all going to be okay. No, I am not saying that. I am not saying that. What I am saying is that they are doing a lot of stuff right, and it's really, really infuriating. And everything and all the other stuff, the bad stuff, undermines what we're doing. Let's move on then. So yes, we have to talk about the red cards and the discipline. Liam Twomey's wrote about it, unsurprisingly. There's talk of fines and all kinds of stuff. We're going to hop in to what Twomey's wrote. Death taxes and Chelsea red cards. It's the latter of the 3 life certainties that is preoccupying an increasingly somber Liam Rosenior as he tries to stop this falling apart. Rosenior said this, the Chelsea manager: "It's a focus and concentration thing that we need to get right." He said in this post-match press conference. Of course, Pedro Neto got sent off. 2 yellows in 3 minutes. Mental. The club's record is not great from the start of the season, and now it's getting bad. We had 10 games where I've been here, we didn't have any of these issues, but we've had 2 games, 2 red cards, and 2. That's something we've got to get to the bottom of. 10 games, we were still getting a lot of yellows. The discipline is mental. It was Chelsea's 7th red card in the Premier League. That is just mental. 7th red card in the Premier League. And we've got 10 games to go. More than anyone in the division, and then 9th in all competitions. And all different players as well. 9 different players. What? Like, we've like, you know, they were building as an 11 of people that have been sent off. That number rises to 10 if you include former head coach Maresca. We've got a manager and 9 outfield players to make it an 11 in this season. That is insane. Chelsea's red cards have been shown to all different players. That's insane. Only Sunderland in 09-10 and Leicester in 94-95, both 8, have seen more players being dismissed than Chelsea. Reece James said, "We've spoken about it. Every time it's someone different, not the same player. Internally, we need to review and keep moving. It's a problem. We are playing in the toughest league in the world. 11-11 is tough. 10 versus 11 is even harder, no matter who you're playing." Reece said that. I mean, that's a quote. They've definitely taken out the "you knows." You know, every time he speaks, you know, where he puts in about 10 every sentence. So they've probably been cleansed out of that. The bigger picture is that Chelsea are averaging a red card every 5 games. And indiscipline has cost them points in the race for the Champions League. 7, to be precise. Boy, we could do with those 7 points right now. Okay, so they're going to go through Roll up, come on down. It's the red card show. Rob Sanchez, away at Old Trafford. Really, at the beginning of the game, he comes out and tries to murder Burmo. Would it have been better to let him score? Yes. Remember that? Russia blood. Horrendous scenes. Next up, Trevoh Chalobah in the Premier League also. We lost 3-1 to Brighton at home. That is just gross, especially considering how Brighton have gone on to struggle. Chelsea were leading 1-0 and control at Stamford Bridge in the 53rd minute when a loose Andre Santos touch, I'm starting to remember, it's like a fever dream coming back to me, set 2 Brighton's players through on goal. Perhaps we were worried about what Sanchez might do. Chalobah attempted to dispossess Gomez, brought him down, clumsy execution, red card. Yeah, and speaking of Trevoh Chalobah and Rob Sanchez, he was fuming at him yesterday. Rightly so. He was playing like an idiot. João Pedro. Oh, yeah. Fortunately, this didn't cost us too much. Yeah, brought on by Tariq George after the hour mark. João Pedro earned his first yellow card with a flailing arm. And then, was that a high boot? Yeah, high boot, as you can see there. Not the worst in the world because we survived and we still won that game. Enzo Maresca, Liverpool, don't care about that. He was celebrating. Let him live. You know, hashtag let him live. This, Malo Gusto. This is a horrible trip down memory lane. What the hell is this? Forest 0, Chelsea 3. I know we still won. I read it the other way around. It's okay. We won. For some reason I read that backwards. 3-0. It was still dumb from Gusto. These things can happen. Did he go over the ball? Slightly high, whatever. Liam Delap, no excuse for this. We still won, of course, but he came off the bench and got 2 yellows. Brought on at the hour mark. So yeah, he got 2 yellows off the bench after an hour. That is just so inexcusable. Caicedo, of course, will remember this. Red on Marino. We still managed to get a draw. This has really, really cost us because we probably should have beaten Arsenal at home, because even with 10 men, it looked like we were the better team. And afterwards, Arteta was like, we got away with that, even against 10 men Chelsea. Cucurella, 2-1 Fulham. Again, you gotta be beating Fulham, ain't you? You gotta be beating Fulham. As with Sanchez red, Chelsea were plunged into immediate disarray with one long kick from a goalkeeper at Craven Cottage. What was it? Dogzo then. Wilson manhandled Cucurella with alarming ease to gain position. Brought him down. Last man, Dogzo. What are you doing, Cuckoo? These are all experienced players. Even Fofana. Burnley, of course, the other day, 1-0. Where's Fofana? 2 yellows. It's just stone walls. Of course, Pedro Neto gets 1 for dissent, which is arguably the biggest problem, but then carving him down like that, what was he doing? Absolutely tried to murder Martinelli. It's completely unacceptable, man. They're all avoidable. But the thing is, all of those, yeah? I mean, you could say Liam Delap, young player trying to prove himself, but it was 2 yellows off the bench in the cup. Mental. Like, none of those you think, oh, he's a kid. Oh, he was being, bullied all game and lashed out. Oh, it's, Diego. Even Diego, I don't think Diego Costa got sent off for Chelsea. Or if it was like a Sergio Ramos for Real Madrid, he always gets red cards, but he's such an amazing player and servant, whatever. It's not. None of this is acceptable. Not one case do you go, maybe Chalobah a little bit. And you suppose you could say the Chalobah and the Rob Sanchez as a rush of blood away at Old Trafford, but this is adding to Rob Sanchez's portfolio of rush of blood, silly moments, doing absolutely mental reactions. It's completely unacceptable, man. Really is, really is. So basically, how do you fix it? He was asked about disciplinary fines. He said, look, it's not about the fine. It's about finding the reason why you do it. Like, players don't go into challenges thinking, oh, am I going to get fined sort of thing. And I guess, in a way, you don't want that. I think I think like what they rightly said, Matt Law of the Telegraph and Liam Twomey in the post-match presser rightly highlighted the dissent, because that's dumb AF, man. That is like, yeah, you do that, you should get fined, I think, because that's Enzo Fernandez got one for dissent, Pedro Neto got one for dissent before. Look, if you're going to hack down Martinelli because he's on the break and it's a professional foul, and, you want to maybe stick one on him a little bit and be like, I'm here, boy, to like get inside his head, fine, but not when you've been booked 3 minutes before for dissent. If you, like, it'd be very interesting just to see, like, the other cards. I know we've just gone through them. Maybe, like, a few of them were for dissent. I don't know what the Delat point was. But do you know what I mean? Just, even those yellows are cumulative. Like, I'm sure Caicedo's got 1 or 2 for dissent as well. They're just needless. They're needless. I know you understand arguing with the ref. Listen to the fan reaction. Let them pressurize the referee. The players do nothing. The ref's totally in control of the players getting angry. He's just going to be like, bang, 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 have some yellows. I don't know. Something has to be done. Like Nick Villaney was talking again on the aforementioned London is Blue pod about playing like training games where, you gotta think you're on a yellow, and if you put in a challenge where you get another yellow, you're off, maybe don't get fined, but you like lose the right to start or something like that. I mean, it's very tough to implement because of your stars or whatever. But we need to do something, man. If you've got any ideas, do comment down below. But that's going to be it for now. I really wanted to show you that graphic that blew my mind as well. Thanks for joining me, guys. Thank you as always for your support, for liking and subscribing on YouTube, for following and 5-starring on your podcast apps by searching Football Therapy Podcast. I will be here every single day, so I'll see you back here soon. Peace.